60 million years ago, the planet did not look like home. The dinosaurs were gone. The skies were quiet. But the throne at the top of the food chain was still empty. And nature never leaves a throne empty for long. In 2009, deep inside the coal layers of northern Colombia's Cerrejón formation, paleontologists uncovered a bone that made them stop working. It was a single vertebra, dense, massive, wider than a human thigh. At first, they assumed it belonged to a crocodile. That would have been impressive but believable. It wasn't a crocodile. When researchers examined the articulation surfaces, the truth became unavoidable. This was Titanoboa, cerrejonensis, the largest snake ever discovered. When the team ran the measurements through scaling models based on modern boas, the result seemed impossible. Over 13 meters long, more than a metric ton, a reptile so large it redefined the biological limits of snakes. And its existence raised a terrifying question: what kind of world allows something like this to evolve? To understand the Titanoboa, we have to look at the engine of its biology. Snakes are ectotherms. They don't generate internal heat the way mammals do. Their metabolism is directly tied to environmental temperature. Think of it as an engine that only runs as hot as the world around it. Today's tropics limit that engine. Modern green anacondas rarely exceed 6 meters because beyond that size, digestion slows, movement becomes inefficient, and energy demands outweigh environmental heat input. But during the Paleocene, the world was different. Fossil plant data suggests average annual temperatures in northern South America hovered around Y-32 degrees Celsius year-round. No winter, no seasonal cooling. For a reptile, this wasn't just warm, it was optimal. Under those conditions, metabolism accelerates, growth becomes efficient. Large body size becomes sustainable. Titanoboa wasn't a fluke. It was a climate-driven outcome, but there is a catch. If you were that big, how did you actually move? Here's what most people get wrong. Titanoboa probably wasn't chasing prey through the jungle like a movie monster. On land, an animal weighing over a ton would struggle under its own mass. Gravity becomes an enemy. Water changes everything. In a swamp, buoyancy neutralizes weight. Titanoboa likely spent most of its life partially submerged, behaving less like a python and more like a massive, aquatic crocodile. It was patient, silent, invisible. It didn't need to hunt like a predator chasing a gazelle. It was an ambush artist, relying on the murky tea-colored water of the Cerrejón swamps to mask its immense bulk until the moment of impact. When you visualize it, stop picturing a snake slithering across the jungle floor. Start picturing something that looks like a floating log, until it decides that you are dinner. Titanoboa didn't disappear overnight. There was no asteroid, no dramatic catastrophe. Instead, the planet gradually cooled. Over millions of years, global temperatures dropped by just a few degrees. To us, that's a wardrobe change. To a 13-meter ectotherm, it's metabolic collapse. Digestion slows. Growth halts, activity decreases. Once you can't process enough food to maintain your body mass, size becomes a fatal liability. At the same time, mammals were diversifying. Unlike reptiles, mammals generate internal heat. They remained active while the reptiles slowed. The ecological balance shifted. Titanoboa, perfectly engineered for a greenhouse world, found itself on a planet that no longer supported giants. It didn't fail. The environment changed. And evolution moved on. Today, the green anaconda rules South American waterways. At around 6 meters, it represents the upper limit allowed by our current climate system. But Earth's climate has never been static. It oscillates. It transforms. Titanoboa reminds us that life expands to fill whatever boundaries physics and temperature allow. We live in a brief, cool chapter of Earth's history. Before us, there were titans. After us, there will be something else. Here at Animal Lover Planet, we explore those forgotten worlds not as fantasy, but as evidence of what biology is capable of when conditions align. If you want to help us keep uncovering the limits of nature, consider becoming a member. Because the story of life on Earth is far bigger than any one species, including us.